Are you ready to unlock growth, build resilience, and confidently take the next step in leadership, career, and faith? Welcome to The Next Move. I'm Orvin Kimbrough, a CEO, author, and leader with a passion for helping people and organizations thrive. My journey from foster care to CEO has fueled my mission to help professionals scale their confidence, leadership, and influence through mindset shifts, expanded networks, and bold action. Each week, I'll share reflections ripped straight from my blog to inspire and empower you with actionable insights. Let's get started and make your next move your best move. Welcome back to The Next Move, the podcast where we explore faith, leadership, and personal growth to help you take your next step with purpose and confidence. This is a space where we have real conversations about leadership, business, and life. Conversations that actually matter. Because leadership isn't just about titles, and success isn't just about money either. It's about understanding the systems we navigate, the people we impact, and the purpose that drives us. I'm Orvin Kimbrough, and if you know anything about my journey, you know I've spent over 20 years writing, reflecting, and teaching on leadership. But more than anything, I'm an advocate for the people. I'm the people's accidental banker. Because at the end of the day, leadership, real leadership, is about creating conditions where everyone has a chance to move forward. So let's dive in. I believe in creating conditions where all individuals, not just a few, can live better lives. That conviction doesn't just come from theory. It comes from lived experience. I have been poor. I have been broke. I have been voiceless. I have been unseen. I have been victimized. But I am still here. And because I am here, I see the systems, the structures, and sometimes even the people, both inside and outside our institutions, that try to arrest our development. Now, I find myself in what I call the top of the seventh inning, leading as chairman and CEO of Midwest Bank Center, one of Missouri's largest privately held banks. I'm incredibly proud of my team and the work we're doing. We serve communities from deep south to deep north and everywhere in between. We've come so far, and yet we still have further to go. But here's something I've learned. Black leadership, particularly in industries like banking, carries an unspoken burden. We're often expected to take on the highest risk opportunities, sometimes at the expense of long-term sustainability. These expectations don't just come from one place, they come from a multitude of places. The institutions we work in, they come from helping organizations, the broader business community, and yes, even our own communities. This episode is for Black professionals navigating leadership, for business owners engaging with Black-led institutions, and for anyone who wants to understand what real, strategic, sustainable support looks like. Because leadership isn't just about making it to the table. It's about staying there, growing there, and making an impact that lasts. I remember preparing for one of my first Federal Reserve meetings years ago, thinking about the legacy of Black leadership in banking. Did you know Frederick Douglass was one of the first Black people to lead a bank? In March 1874, he was appointed president of the Freedmen's Savings Bank. By June of that same year, the bank collapsed. exactly 100 years before I was born in 1974. That weight of history, I carried it with me when I stepped into banking. I knew the expectations were high, not because I lacked the skill, but because success in leadership isn't just about what people say they want for you. It's about what you do and what they do. I learned that lesson early as a foster kid, and it has served me well as a business leader. When opportunity isn't what it seems, you still have to step into your dream. Sometimes institutions take what they call a risk, not because they truly believe in it, but because it looks good for marketing. They run the numbers, figure out they can afford the loss, and then say, "We tried." But I'm not built that way. If I plug in, it's because I believe. And if I believe, then it doesn't matter what risk you think I am. I do what is in my control to win. Did you catch that? When I became CEO in 2019, I could only identify one black leader of a mainstream bank in the United States, me. I always left room for the possibility there were others, but I was never able to confirm it. And even today, as of February 2025, there are only 22 black-owned banks in the United States. They make up less than 1% of the nation's 4,645 banks. Many of them struggle with undercapitalization and outsized risk. There are many reasons for this, but that's a conversation for another time. Early in my banking career, I noticed a pattern. The toughest deals, the ones no other bank would touch, always landed on my desk. Not just difficult deals, but high risk, nearly impossible deals. At first, I thought this is a sign of trust. But over time, I realized a troubling pattern. It wasn't just me. It was something that black leaders and black business owners across industries faced. We are often expected to take on the highest risk opportunities even when they threaten the very institutions we lead. And when we say no, the sharpest criticisms often comes from our own communities, because well-meaning people often direct the highest risk borrowers to black-led institutions, not because the deals are sound, but because Orvin is there and he, of course, will give you a fair shake. Let's be clear. I believe in fairness. I will always give all people a fair chance. But fairness isn't recklessness. If all I do is high-risk lending without balance, the institution itself is at risk. And when that happens, no one wins. Not me, not the bank, not the community. To illustrate this, I compare banking to heart surgery. A heart surgeon is judged by their skill and the success rate of their patients. The patient is passive on the table, trusting the surgeon's expertise. Folks, banking isn't like that. My success isn't just about my skill. It's about the will and discipline of the client. Unlike heart surgery, my clients are still operating in real time. But here's the expectation placed on black bankers. We should take all the hardest cases, even when those cases are unsustainable. That's not how banking works. If you want to see more black professionals in leadership roles, we cannot set them up to fail. We must ensure that they receive opportunities that are viable, sustainable, and balanced. That means, number one, recognizing that black leaders don't check their business sense at the door just because they care about their communities. Number two, sending a mix of referrals, not just high risk ones, but also bankable ones that strengthen the institution. And number three, advocating for fair opportunities, because if it isn't profitable, you've heard me say it before, it isn't sustainable. Black history isn't just about remembering the past. It's about shaping the future. If we want stronger black representation in banking, if we want stronger black representation in business, if we want stronger black representation in leadership, we have to support the ones who are already there. Because true empowerment isn't about placing impossible burdens on black leadership. It's about creating the conditions where they can lead, creating the conditions where they can innovate, creating the conditions where they can prosper. So what do you think? Let's talk about it. And if this conversation sparks something for you, pass it on, because knowledge is power, but applied knowledge changes lives. Until next time. Thank you for tuning in to The Next Move. I hope today's reflection inspired you to take the next step in your leadership, career, or faith journey. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who might need a little encouragement this week. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you'd like more reflections or resources, visit orvinkimbrough.com or theaccidentalbanker.com. Until next time, remember, every step you take brings you closer to thriving. Let's keep moving forward together.